Reploids. It is the return of everyone's maybe favorite segment on Ramblin Reploids, Would You Rather? Hello, I'm your host SilBee, and we're going to be doing some more Would You Rather today. May I introduce the Ramblin Reploids?
Hello everybody, my name is Twitch, and I'm going first this time, Coleman. You can't stop me.
I was so close to the microphone, I was ready.
I can sense it.
Hello, my name is Coleman X. Thank you for coming. And thank you to Bunny for requesting this episode.
Yes, thank you, Bunny. Very cool.
Way to light a fire under our posteriors.
Yeah. We've been needing to do this one. So, this is going to be just like last time, right? Except we have viewer-submitted questions.
Yeah.
Yes. This time we have a whole list. We put out a link to submit some questions for this time. Thank you so much for everyone that did so. We have quite a solid pool to choose from, in addition to the ones that we didn't get to last time. All going to be completely random picked, except for Bunny is going to get some priority here. I think we're going to start with one of Bunny's questions, and then we'll do maybe a couple pulling from the rest, and then we'll get back to Bunny, so on and so forth. So yeah, I think we should get started with our first question. You guys ready?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, for the first one, from Bunny, or Usagi Man is also the other credit that they wanted maybe to give. Would you rather have Mega Man X9, but it's a 16-bit throwback, or have Mega Man X9, but it's in the X-Dive engine?
Who's going first?
I have some feelings about this, so I think I'll go
Didn't
first.
well, Twitch called it earlier, so go ahead.
Okay.
Alright, so I think, as much as I hate it, I would rather have the 16-bit throwback. Only because I think the X-Dive engine can work, but I feel like what this question is implying is that it would play like X-Dive, which currently X-Dive is not up to the current standards I would expect out of a Mega Man X game. So I'm going to say let's avoid X-Dive, and we're going to go 16-bit. I don't want that. I think the X series should really be, like, evolving and getting better. Like, the way that Mega Man X8 looks like in the cutscenes, like the pre-rendered cutscenes, that's what I want X8 or X9 to look like, period. That's just what I want it to look like. That's my choice. But given the choice between the two, I guess I'm going to have to go with 16, because the 16-bit version, those are proven games, those are proven formulas, they're all really good. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I think we could really make something fun out of it, and I'll just overlook the graphics.
I'm basically gonna echo you. Like, if it was just the general aesthetic style, like, I'm completely fine with Dive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the way it plays isn't nearly as tight as it needs to be. Like, it's a fun little, like, daily diversion, but as like a core experience, you need something like really, really, really tight and polished.
Right.
And I think the 16-bit games feel better than any other iteration of Mega Man X.
Mm-hmm.
So, as much as I don't want to see it go back, given the choice, that's the one I pick.
Yeah,
Wasn't there was that speculation, or was it confirmed and didn't release that way, that Dive was in like a modified Maverick Hunter X?
I heard that's what it
sure
was.
it's confirmed.
Is that still the case?
Like, I think it was, like, that was just the base, and it was just heavily...
Yeah, and I think they even used that engine for X8, because, like, when you play Maverick Hunter X and you play Mega Man X8, they feel very similar, and they're lit very similarly, as far as, like, the lighting effects go.
I noticed that with like the gravity and everything too. X8 you fall extremely fast, and it's kind of similar like that in Dive.
Yeah, so it just feels like they've been modifying that and running with it, which I guess why not? Get some more use out of that engine. By that extension, I also think that means Powered Up also used that. So yeah,
Makes sense,
stretch the engine out. That's cool. I'm fine with it. But yeah, for like a new entry for X9, yeah, come on, man. We've been waiting like almost 17 years now. I think it's time for us to get something a little meatier,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely actually kind of like Coleman, a big fan of the aesthetic of X-Dive. The art they have going on, the way the 3D models look, I think it's a good representation of like what a modern art style for X series would probably look like.
Yeah, big agree.
Without like doing a full character redesign change like with the X8 and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I agree that in general the more 2D aspects of the series just feel better to play. And honestly, even if they like outsourced it to indie creates again, they've more or less proven like control wise to me how great they can be with that. So I think I would trust a 16-bit X9 to be more what I would be looking for in terms of the game feel than X-Dive for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, I pretty much agree there, and also with what Cole said. Like, aesthetically, yes, Dive is great, and I like it. And I like, the animations. Everyone's got a unique victory pose. Everyone's got neat stuff going on.
The music's awesome.
Music is awesome. The presentation is great. But the engine...
references around every corner.
Yeah, I love that. It's just the gameplay needs to be tighter. That's it.
Yeah, I mean I guess that comes with the mobile territory.
Yeah, and I can understand
extent,
it playing that way too, because I'm sure the movement and other things were fine tuned for like mobile play, and probably didn't have like tight single player experiences in mind.
Auto fire, auto aiming, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I get it, and that's fine. I understand.
And like we don't know how well Dive would play without having to connect to a server. Like if there was like a Dive cartridge that you could put into your Switch or something,
yeah, like a
and there wouldn't be any server lag or anything, then it might play like a dream,
Yeah,
but
we wouldn't know.
With what we're given, I would go with 16-bit.
Yeah, I think that's cool too. Make it 16-bit, release it on PC, and then let everyone take the game apart and make it moddable. And go nuts with it or something.
Excellent idea.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to question number 2. We have... This one is from 58 Redwood. Seen quite a lot in the live stream chats and in the server. Would you rather... Ooh, this... Okay. This is a 4 choice. Would you rather...
Okay.
Oh, no.
But it's pretty simple.
I don't
Would you
think
rather
I
live...
can think that way.
Would you rather live as a Reploid, Robot Master, Net Navi, or Human if you were in the Mega Man universe?
I'm going to just go ahead and say Reploid, hands down. There's no competition.
I'm going to say... Oh, sorry.
No, that's it. Go ahead. You give yours. We'll elaborate after.
I'm going to say it depends on what year it is. Because being human in like a lot of years is pretty bad.
That's true.
But I'd probably also go with Reploid. You might become a Maverick, you might not, but hey, whatever. If you're a Maverick, you like usually have a weapon installed in you, so it's kind of cool. The boob call is real.
You have a cool title based off of what creature you happen to be modeled after,
and an adjective that follows it. I wonder if you get to name yourself, or if that name is given to you by like someone else. Like, what if that person really doesn't like you? And they instead of being something epic like Storm Eagle, they call you something like boring sloth.
Douche Spider.
Gigavolt Manowar.
I don't know. Douche Spider is pretty high up there. I could live with that name because it'd be so freaking funny. That's the alternative name taken by Boss Spider. It's the replace. This is other.
Oh
name.
no, I was gonna say that's already taken by a character in Command Mission.
Oh.
Oh.
Douche
Yeah.
Spider. Asshole Phoenix. Something like that. If I could modify this question, I would like to add a 5th choice, and put Carbon on the list.
There you go.
If I could live as a Carbon, I would. Because Robot Masters are nice, but they have limited free will and have to do this and that and follow their orders, and you know, you might get, you know, co-opted by a crazy old man with a, you know, Albert Einstein haircut to do something bad. Oh my god, honey, thank you. Yes, I do like Mega Man Legends bonus. Because yeah, like Cole said, depending on when Reploids are, you might go Maverick, and there's like a lot of destruction in the X series. There's like 2 world-ending events at some point, and then there's like Reploids in the Zero series. You might go Starving, and humans, again, depending on what year it is, have it really good. Like in the Zero series, they're just pampered all the time. Or if you're a human in pretty much any other time period, not so much. But I would choose Carbon if that was on the list, because the Legend series, the actual Japanese name is Rockman Dash, and Dash is an acronym for Dig Outer Adventures in Halcyon Days, which Halcyon means, or Halcyon Days is basically a long period of peace, and yeah, it's pretty much peaceful to be a Carbon in Mega Man Legends. It's very, like, uneventful. And, like, people are going to be like, oh, but what about, you know, the stuff that happens in Legends? I'm like, yeah, but, like, that happens, like, once every 1,000 years. Like, that's beyond your lifetime. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, it'd be cool to live as a Carbon. That's just me. If not, I'd like to be a Reploid. Reploids are basically better humans. I better not say that too loudly. I'm getting funny looks from Sigma. He's thinking about calling me over one day.
Better than humans, you say?
I like the way
Here's
this Twitch guy thinks. Yeah, here's my... It just slides out of his chin.
Yeah!
It comes out like like an old Xerox.
I might actually go against the grain here. I think I might go Net Navi. Or Navi. I don't think I ever learned the proper...
I think it's Navi for, like, Navigator.
Navi? Okay. I'm gonna go Net Navi, because they have... You know, defined personalities, but they still have a mold that they can sort of shape to their own. They're not just like built to always carry out, you know, their personality at any time. They have depth of feeling. There's that. I think cyberspace, the internet in the Battle Network series, is extremely cool and like ridiculously more interesting place than a lot of places in real life even might be.
That is true.
Yeah. You always have like a guaranteed best friend. It doesn't seem like, you know, you're tied to your operator, right? I mean, it would be really cool to just have that someone you can always count on at any given time, assuming you're not one of the like evil villainous faction ones.
Yeah, and sometimes there's even independent navies, so like you can even be like, well, I don't need an operator, and you can just kind of do your own thing and just chill on the internet as like this untethered personality.
Yeah, exactly. You have your own world that is truly unique to what the humans experience.
That's true.
And on top of that, you can convert, like, along with all the other, you know, Robot Masters can do this, Reploids can do this, but I feel like because it's digital, you can get even crazier with it. Transform all these parts of your body and like the way you look and stuff into all these, you know, weapons and crazy forms. I think I don't know. You can have a lot of fun.
You would only literally be limited by your imagination because it's all virtual. Like a Reploid can do that, and maybe a Robot Master could if they were, I guess, given permission to do that. But you're ultimately limited by like your budget and like what parts are available. But as a Net Navi, you could just be like, I want to be 7 feet tall, and then like you blink and there you are, you're 7 feet tall because you're just data.
And as technology progresses, you know, the scope of what you can accomplish probably will expand as well.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's something to think about, and people hate when I bring this up, but this is a fun thought. Is Gutsman strong and tough because of his shape? Or is he just strong and tough and his data looks like he's strong and tough? Because if you think about it, he's just data, and that's just a visual representation. But technically, you could have a Navi that looks like scrawny little Mega Man EXE, but give him all of the parameters of Gutsman, and you'd have someone who's just as indestructible and strong, but look like a scrawny little dude. Just saying, I'm just putting that out there. It's a weird thing to think about, but it's there.
Well, you know, the best part about being a Net Navi is that you can also attack in the real world if someone throws their PET at somebody's head.
Mega Man, attack!
Can you just do me a favor? Just Just throw me at him. It's okay.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Let's put that GIF up right here. Marvelous. Beautiful. All right,
Excellent
I'm ready
question.
for the next question.
Yeah. Really got us thinking.
Okay, moving on. Perfect timing. This is another bunny question. Would you rather have Proto Man's nuclear core, I guess just to live, or be the source of the Maverick virus?
This is depressing.
Two very significant moments across the universe's timeline.
I'm gonna say the nuclear core because I already have a finite lifespan, and I'm kind of used to it. But you know,
Yeah, not much would
Like-
change.
like I guess if someone killed me really hard, I'd take him out with me.
Someone killed you really hard.
Like
But,
Godzilla when he's melting down.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and just become
But I
burning
mean-
Godzilla.
Yeah.
I've seen Proto Man get cut in half, and he's just like, I'm fine.
It's just a
if
scratch.
that comes with it, okay. Because when Proto Man gets cut in half, he's fine. When Zero gets cut in half, he dies and becomes evil in the next game. So I'm gonna go with the nuclear core.
What was the other choice again? I just want to make sure I'm choosing correctly.
Be the source of the Maverick virus.
That's too much guilt.
I guess within the
Hold on,
the
hold
time
on,
frame, like-
1 second. Sorry, I was just fed something by bonus level.
Well, it sounds delicious.
It was cookie dough.
It is delicious.
Wow, that's really good. Thank you, honey. Okay, now that I've had the cookie dough, I have gained
I
the
want
proper
some.
amount of... You can't have it. You gotta come over, doofus. Now that I've had that cookie dough, I have now gained the clarity to answer this question.
All right.
I would like to be the source of the Maverick virus because that means that I am Zero, and Zero eventually overcomes the Maverick virus. So eventually, things will work out in the end.
See, if I were me, but the source of the Maverick virus, I wouldn't be able to take that kind of guilt. It's like, ah, crap, I ended the world.
Are you willing to take responsibility for
everybody.
all the horrific atrocities that have occurred?
It's not technically my fault. I'm the source of it, but I didn't put it there. Dr. Wily did, so screw that guy.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Okay, here's a caveat. Am I aware of the fact that I have now become the source of the Maverick virus, or would I just like be Zero basically, like day one, don't know that he's carrying the virus around? Because if I'm aware that I am the source of the Maverick virus, the first thing I would do is be like, hey, I'm the source of the Maverick virus, please fix me, and I'd find a way to get that taken care of much faster than it took for Zero, which was like 200 years.
Nah. Would that affect your decision and you go like nuclear core if you were aware?
I think, well, that's the thing. If I were aware, maybe I
Well,
would
it's
go
like,
nuclear
what if
core.
the only way to stop it and fix you is to destroy you?
Well, now this supposes if I'm not the source of the Maverick virus and like I didn't choose that, would it default to someone else? I guess that's my question, because it's like
The
I
universe
wouldn't
has
just.
this
Do I know
perfect-
that I'm going to be destroyed if that's what I choose? That's not fair.
Well, that's like, if you go to the doctor and be like, hey, doctor, I have this plague that kills people that come into contact with me. The guy's gonna be like, well, a scalpel, and then like stab you in the neck.
I think you'll be hard pressed to
like,
find a
Doctor, you
doctor.
go
I was
to.
gonna
For
say
the
you'll be
gr-
hard pressed to find a doctor who does that. What happened to do no harm?
It's Dr. Greater Good.
The only doctor that will believe you.
I'm a healer, but
Healer butt.
pulls out a gun, loads it with ominous intent. I don't know. I think that if I could become the source of the Maverick virus by proxy, that means that I would become Zero. If I am becoming Zero and I'm aware that I am now taking on this burden, I would immediately seek out help to try to cure the Maverick virus. If I didn't know, then this is getting really meta. If I didn't know that when I became the source of the Maverick virus, I was Zero, I think I would still go with it, because like, how would I know that I'm the source of the Maverick virus? I wouldn't know until later. But me answering this question would know, so you know what? This is confusing. I just want to be a Reploid, guys. Come on.
There you go. We got to the real core of it here. The nuclear core of this question.
Yeah. Brought it around.
I can't get anywhere as in depth as these two have on their choices, so I'm gonna say nuclear core, just so I can walk up to people and then be like, check this out. my heart, it's a nuke. Nuclear, baby.
Just
Nuclear
throw
baby.
me at him. I'll take him out.
Okay. Fun questions, fun
Those are good
answers.
ones.
Okay, for the next one, we have from Diaflans1986 on Twitch, the website. That is DEAFLANZ1986.
I always thought it was Deathlands, but Diaflon sounds way more fancy.
Well, I apologize then if I.
I don't know
that, but...
how it's pronounced, but like I've never heard it pronounced that way because in my head I don't. But you know what? I kind of like that. It sounds very fancy. It had a few like accent marks over some of those E's, and you got yourself like a cool name.
The question is, would you rather play Mega Man 1 for the rest of your life, like
No.
only Mega Man 1, or be forced to listen to Flame Hyanard's beautiful voice for the rest of your life?
All right, I changed
I
my
assume
answer.
this means everyone's voice becomes Flame Hyanard's. I just want to make it that.
I'm gonna go with Mega Man 1 if I have to play it for the rest of my life, because at the very least, you can get good at Mega Man 1 at some point, and it won't be, torture, but Flame Hyanard's voice will be torture no matter what you do. There is no salvaging it. That's my answer. Sweet and simple.
Fair enough. Alright, call my next. What you got?
I'm not too bothered by Mega Man 1, like, enough to get really mad at it. And, like, if it just becomes the only game that you can play instead of you having to play it 24/7, like, you don't have to play a game, but if someone's yelling in your ear, you can't stop them.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
But if it's like, oh, I'm going to turn on the Nintendo, guess what? It's Mega Man 1. Oh, well, and like you said, you can get better at it, and then it can become
I find a new
fun
hobby.
little-
I guess there are people that only really play one game, like, all the time. So, it's not unprecedented. But I'll pick Mega Man 1 as well, just because that's the most, like, least horrible answer for the rest of your life.
Like,
But I'm
imagine
very
every
curious-
conversation is just Flame Hyanard.
But
What if
I'm very
your
curious
own
then-
voice was Flame Hyanard? Oh, God!
But, like, in the game, Hynard only screams and yells. I'm very curious to hear what he'd sound like, just, like, at a normal speaking level. You know?
He kind of has
no,
one.
that is his normal speaking voice.
Yeah.
You haven't heard him yell.
If you actually exactly. If you listen to the cutscenes, he is kind of yelling, but it's more normal. Like it's not
you're
not
right.
exactly yelling yet until like the fight starts. But when he talks with whoever you're with and he's walking towards the arena, his voice is very scratchy and like sounds like how do I describe it? It's that weird kind of warbliness that like Morty has from Rick and Morty, but like with a much louder, more obnoxious voice. Like, just Flame Hyanard, no.
That's,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I'm in Team No Hynard.
Yeah, so we're all on team become pro speedrunners of Mega Man 1.
And Hynard like clones himself and
Yes.
then yells at you.
I know. Whose bright idea was it to take Hyanard and then make 3 of him?
It'd be kind of cool to ride his mech around, but
His
Yeah.
giant death horse.
I will also say Mega Man 1, because it's still technically Mega Man 1, also includes all the like mods and hacks of it. So
yeah,
you'd have
and,
some variety there.
That's
and
true.
the
Why don't
Wily
we
Wars
just
version.
mod and hack Mega Man 1 into all of the other NES Mega Man
There you
games?
go.
And there we go. We found a loophole. I like this. I'd sign this contract with the devil. That's fine.
Mhm.
But you know how there are hacks of Mario World that pretty much makes it any game ever? Like if we can get that good at hacking Mega Man 1, then I think we're okay.
It's game over, baby. We can take all the 6 bosses and turn them into like Tetris blocks and get yourself Tetris. Yeah, you just line up all the Iceman heads and make them vanish.
Most manual Tetris game to
I
ever
love it.
exist.
It's great. I'd be so into that.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Awesome. Next up. From Smarties.
Uh-oh.
Would you rather, right now, at this very moment, sing the Ruby Spears opening theme, or sing Electronical Communication?
Da-da-da-da, super fighting robot. Da-da-da-da, Mega Man. I'm gonna go Ruby Spears only because I physically can't sing Electronic Communication. I want to, but I can't, so I'm gonna default to Ruby Spears. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I am constantly in the mood to be fighting to save the world. So no contest.
I like that she picked those two particular songs because they are on opposite ends of the spectrum of complication. There's na super fighting robot, and then there's electrical communication. And they're two opposite spectrums. Like they're on opposite ends of the spectrum of complicated lyrics. So yeah, sorry, Ruby Spears wins only because I physically cannot do electronic communication.
That was pretty great.
I don't know what they're saying. It's too fast.
I thought that was the actual song.
Yeah, there you go. If you just flub it enough and squint your ears.
It's okay. It's just the scat version.
Exactly. We're gonna have to do like a jazz scat rendition of electrical communication.
Oh, we should do like an outtake where we do like an acapella version
Electronic communication. Scott by the Judah doodly bop.
Awesome question.
Thank
Next
you,
up.
Smarties. I'm gonna have a talk with you about this later.
I'm gonna guess that you're on Team Super Fighting Robot.
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I contributed a little bit.
We are all
All right.
fighting robots fighting to save the world.
Okay, from Dunno. A little trademark there, just to say.
Hey,
Would you rather be the one that has to try and peacefully break up the fight between X and Awaken Zero in X5? or play through X6, but every level is built like the gate stages and gets progressively more unfair?
Oh my God. No.
So,
well, okay.
all right, go ahead. This is your show. Sorry.
Okay, only one of these threatens my life, but one of these threatens my sanity. I mean, is the X6 version like I'm not stuck with Vanilla X with no powers and I can't even get up the first spike trap. Like, is it? Because then it's gonna be a really boring game.
I'm gonna go with breaking up the fight between X and Awaken Zero, and I'll tell you why. This question didn't say that I had to succeed.
Just get blown up and that's it.
I can literally go in between the two of them and be like, "Hey guys, I don't think you should be fighting right now," and then just walk away. Like I could just whisper it, and then I'm done. That's it. I'm finished. Like I would rather peek my head into the boss room where like all of their energy is surging and stuff, to give like a few words of, you know, like, "No friends, let's bring it off," and then just leave. I don't have to succeed, and he didn't say I had to continue doing it, so there we go. There's my attempt. Go do whatever you will, and you know what? I get a million bonus points if it works.
You know what? I like that so much that I just want to do like a drive-by, you know, peace conference. Just drive up on a ride chaser. Just drop a little paper in the middle. It says, you know, like, both of you need to sign this, and now you're best friends.
Please,
or put
boys,
one
no
of those
fight.
what are those called? Like the best friends T-shirts, where it's like this giant shirt that two arguing kids.
Oh, I think this is our get-along shirt, or like something like that.
Just drop one of those in and hope.
Just throw it on top of X and Zero.
Just put it on X and then just like start motioning for Zero to come over and then run away.
That's great. I like that idea. Honestly though, I would love to see someone like try to negotiate with Ultimate Armor X and Awaken Zero and like tell them to like break it up.
Hey, you guys, stop it. And you know what? The like having to break up Awaken Zero, like it means that you're getting the coolest ending to the game. You know, so like in real life canon, you're getting the cool ending. So
That's true.
might as well keep going.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, if we don't have to be successful, then hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Fair enough.
Loopholes.
Yeah, I don't think I'd get anything out of the Kaizo X6. Personally, it sounds actually like a really fun like social experiment of some kind.
Yeah.
Though.
Like how far? How many times does someone try before they give
Or
up?
just
or
like,
go crazy?
how does it get progressively more unfair as it goes
Yeah.
along? By the time you get to the end, it's just like, you know, super infinity hard, and you can't even move. You
Yeah.
press a button once, and the next frame you die.
I mean, there is the invincibility glitch with Zero, so if it's based on the base game, then we have something here.
It just becomes a Sisyphean task of like constantly trying to get through X6, and it just gets progressively harder with the more like spikes. You know, you know the old myth of Sisyphus trying to push the boulder up the hill, and then it rolls down, and he has to just keep doing it. That's X6 with spikes. It's just that over and over again. You just keep trying, you don't get any progress, but you can't stop.
Oh man, it's like getting over it. Only you never do.
Yeah, no one ever gets over. No one ever gets over X6.
That being said, this is just vague enough that I feel like you can maybe exploit the X5 scenario so that you can maybe succeed, maybe, because there's nothing here about like prep time, about your knowledge of the game itself, what led to this point. So
I just go and
think
become
about
like a psychology major. I just study up for like a long time, prepare for this moment.
Oh, see, I was gonna go like I trust Alia to be at least approaching like Dr. Light level of engineering capacity. Maybe not at this point, like early on in her character, but
Right.
I know she has it in her. So he's got to work with her and Lifesaver, and maybe we can make some sort of like antidote or vaccine to Zero's awakened state. Maybe.
Yeah.
And
Something.
then I just give it to X, and he can do it.
There you go.
Yes. Perfect. This checks out.
Awesome. Okay. Next up on the docket, we have another bunny question. This is being very well paced and by complete luck.
Thank you. This is wonderful. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. Yet another. Would you rather spend a day with Flame Lionheart?
He's back.
Why?
Running
We're getting
gag.
a lot of him today.
Or I like the choice of words here. Babysit vanishing Gungaroo.
I'm not a kid you used to know. Triangle.
Triangle.
I mean, usually when you babysit, you get paid, and usually when you hang out, you don't. So
It's pretty logical, honestly.
I'm gonna pick the lesser of two evils and triangle kick because that might come with a right and a right armor. You know?
Yeah, you'd be like, is there space in your kangaroo pouch for two, and then you could both become bros inside this giant kangaroo right armor? It's funny that it's literally a kangaroo right armor when it's not the kangaroo right armor.
Missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity right there, but I understand. It makes sense.
I actually just would babysit Gungaroo just because I kind of have a soft spot for that boss fight. It's one of the only ones in that game where you actually have to like actively be aware of your surroundings and what's going on, and you know,
Which is already difficult
counter
to
and
do in
react.
X7.
Yeah.
Well, you know, in real life, I'm already pretty good at navigating a 3D space, so it would be a lot easier than in X7.
I just imagine Coleman now is just ultra instincting his way through like a crowded grocery store. Bum 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 bum, and he's just like walking and weaving through people. That's how he navigates 3D spaces. Ultra
With
instinct.
with Gungaroo like in the shopping cart.
Yes. I am gonna do the opposite actually. I would spend a day with Flame Hyenard, because if it's just one day with Flame Hyenard, I think that'd be okay. And you know what? The guy has had it rough. He's been picked on his entire life ever since he came into existence. Everyone hates him. That guy just needs a friend. He just needs a friend. That's all.
Aw.
I'd be his buddy for a day. I would just wear earplugs while I'm with him and, like, you know, deal with the fact that he's always at, like, a 14 out of 10 for his volume. I, too, have trouble controlling the volume of my voice, so I think we would bond over that, and we'd be bros. But after that day is over, I'm out of there.
I was about to say it's buddy for a day and then never call again. Oh man, you're gonna.
I was gonna be like, oh, this one from Ramblin Reploids to real Reploids, and then you said that.
Listen, man. At the end of this hypothetical situation, we don't have. What am I supposed to plan the rest of my life in this scenario? No, man. It's a hypothetical situation that ends as soon as I've reached a conclusion. So that's it. He's out of my life after a day. Get out of here.
I guess they have, like, you know, spend a day with the celebrity contest. So
there you go.
No, but I think I really would genuinely just be like, hey, buddy, I understand. You know, I get it. And he's like, thank you! You know, it's just... you know, he just needs someone to be there for him, and I think that would be okay. Meanwhile, Gunguru is just a brat, so I don't want to be around him.
Just be careful you don't get a phone call, like, 10 years later, and he's like, I need to borrow some money! $10!
I'm sorry, I don't know who this is. Pain! Pain! It burns! So,
if I borrow $10 from you, the pain will go.
That's what he needs. Really, he's like buying Tylenol, and he's like at a CVS. Beautiful.
Next one up is, would you rather have a Mega Man anime that goes through the entire series, like the franchise as a whole, and I guess tries to connect them, or an anime for only one of the series, and which one would it be? This is from Train Number 4 on Twitter.
Can you repeat the question again? An anime that does what?
That either like goes through the entire series and franchise, or like I guess like the main robot timeline, or just an anime for one of the main series.
I don't know. I'm not seeing a drawback to going with an anime that covers everything. Like that seems like the better way to do it. Like, what's the drawback to choosing the anime that covers everything? Wouldn't that include, like, if I were to say I want an anime for, you know, Mega Man X, if I did, and that's like my one choice for like the one that they do, wouldn't it make sense for me to go with the other choice? Because that would mean they're going to do the X series anyway?
Well, maybe that would just like truncate it so hard. You know, either that or it would be just so many episodes
So that's another thing. Like, yeah, does this mean that it would be, like, condensed because they're trying to fit the entire Mega Man franchise into, like, a 24-episode anime? Like, in that case, I can understand it, and that would make more sense.
And it's not even like they're, like, rewriting it to, like, be more, you know, continuous and thorough all throughout. It has to get all the events that exist currently.
I think I'm on team just stick with one series, because then it gets the full focus. You know, like I'm going by real world standards. Like, you know, like when a team is stretched too thin.
Yeah, taking like the production environment into account.
Yeah.
So,
like especially if it's like, you know, the weekly format, and you know we see how bad crunch can be for stuff like that. And then like I'd rather have just something just short and to the point, and it's just beautiful, and it's a story that I really like, instead of, you know, 10 million episodes of, you know, and now I'm done fighting Dr. Wily for the 5th time, going for the 6th. You know, it's like, when are we getting to, you know, X3? I want to see that purple guy.
I mean, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be like super. I think the Megamix manga, at least from what I've read of it so far, does a pretty good job at keeping the game plots themselves like concise and short, but still feeling complete.
So
it's not unprecedented.
Well, what if you're not a fan of classic and you're a fan of,
wait for it.
Like you're a fan of the Zero series, you know, like that's where your fandom starts, and you have to wait, you know, like 50 weeks, you know, to get through the first 2 series, and then by that time, are you even going to care anymore? But if it all came out at once, you know, like if it just into existence one day, then
They Netflixed it.
Yeah, then yeah, let's do everything. But if it's, you know, if we're going with how real world stuff like that works, I would go with just the one series.
I have an interesting take on it, which I'm wondering if you guys would be on board with it if it was framed this way. So, you can pick one series, and they'll do an anime on that series to completion, from start to finish. Or you can do an anime series that covers, you know, every series, but then it would be really condensed. But I'm offering a third option, which is still basically the same thing. What if it was the entire Mega Man timeline into an anime, but instead of trying to condense it into like a bunch of things, you had maybe like 2 episodes dedicated to one of the eras of Mega Man, and it just takes a highlight of the best story from each one. So instead of getting
like it's more like an OVA series,
Or like an anthology kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's like you start off with Mega Man Classic, and then maybe they pick, I don't know, Mega Man 1 just to tell that story, or maybe they pick, you know, Mega Man 9, or just pick any of the good ones. I think 7's a good one, actually, because you can squeeze bass in there.
Yeah.
And you just do a 2-part thing, you know, 30 minutes each, explaining the story of Mega Man 7. And I think that would be fine. Like, you could shorten all the boss battles down, and then just focus on, like, the highlights. So it would basically be, like, intro stage, you know, a quick montage of Mega Man fighting the bosses, and then, you know, you can end on Shade Man with, like, you know, base there or something. Have, like, one really good battle with Shade Man, or something like that. And then after that, the second episode is just dedicated to Mega Man taking down Wily. And that would basically condense the whole story of 7 down into 2 episodes. But then the next 2 episodes is like the X series. And it doesn't necessarily have to be X1. You can just, you know, have like a brief synopsis in the beginning, some narration that just says, you know, like hundreds of years after the events that you've just witnessed, or 100 years after the events you just witnessed. Excuse me, I almost embarrassed myself on
the
live
comments.
television. No, let me. Well, Capcom's advertisement team doesn't seem to care about that kind of consistency, so why should I?
Don't worry, I'll edit it out.
Yeah. So then maybe X5 is like 100 years into the future. You know, the successor to Mega Man fights his own battles against the nefarious Sigma and yada yada. And then you could just do like 2 episodes highlighting X5. You know.
Yeah.
And basically, you just dedicate 2 episodes to each. You know, one to introduce the series, and then one to show like a nice climax to that, you know, series. And it doesn't always have to be the first entry, and it doesn't even have to be like the entire series, you know, squished into one thing. Because like you couldn't possibly do the X series in 2 things. So you just pick the highlights of each one, and then this way each series gets a nice little bit of representation with, you know, good animation. And I think there's Classic X, Zero, ZX, Legends, and then there's Battle Network and Star Force. So that's 7 series. If you were to dedicate like 1 episode to each, that's 7 episodes. So you could do like 14 episodes. That's like a decent length anime. Most anime is like 12. So 14 episodes for like an entire anime series, you could totally do it. And you'd have like, you know, everyone would get represented, and everyone would get some, you know, decent quality animation, because you're not stretching the budget across, like, you know, 36 episodes. It's only 14, you know? So
Yeah, it'd be like a more dedicated project.
So I think
good.
that would be the way to go if I could, you know, nudge this in a direction.
So, the whole series, but in a unique format.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
well,
think telling the X series in an anime from start to finish is, like, really that useful. You could, but I would much rather see like a highlight of each series and really play it up to be, you know, action-packed and, you know, very flashy and well-presented, you know, because you don't have to tell the whole story. You're just taking one bite of it and just making it look really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would do.
You know what? I'm gonna kind of piggyback off that, because I think the best solution is to have like just sort of original stories being told. Like, think of
That's what I would like personally.
like Ruby Spears. You know, like it was so cool to see just these robot masters interact in these situations that you wouldn't see in the games. I think that would be the best because that's more made for a TV thing, you know. Because if there's a episode of a show and it's like, all right, he killed one boss, he killed two boss. Oh, there's a heart. You know,
Well, that's
what I mean?
the creativity comes in. You have to,
Right.
Yeah.
But when Mega Man is fighting, you know, lion people, but he also gets like the Star Crush, you know, like it's really creative.
So,
that's
on that
my
note,
ultimate answer that's not on the list.
So to piggyback off of your answer, or I guess it's a leapfrog at this point, I would say that if that's the format that they went, where it was original stories and didn't tell the story already established in the games, then I would say X or Legends would be my choices. Like if you had to pick one series, because I think you could tell some really good original stories within each of those universes. And I think that because like X and Legends are really good for telling like everyday goings on. Like you could have filler episodes where like not something exciting is happening, or you can have episodes where like they just do routine stuff. With Mega Man, you could do that, but like Mega Man's routine is like just housework with Dr. Light and being like nice.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that's
Maybe
bad.
like shenanigans, maybe, but
Yeah, but that's not like a TV show worthy. But if you were to do like Mega Man X and Zero, you know, every episode is like a buddy cop movie where like they're tracking down like a new Maverick or like they're fighting Dynamo or something like that. Like you can have fun with that. And same thing with Legends, because Legends is all about adventuring and going out and treasure hunting, and like you could do everyday things with that and like make up an entirely original, you know, episodes every day or every week whenever these things would air for those series. But like, if you were to do something like Zero and ZX, well, I guess ZX could kind of work. But Zero and ZX are more focused, and there's like it's a very tight, compact story of like stuff always happening. You know what I mean? So you wouldn't have as much casual time in those.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine, like, if it's an X series and, you know, it's this style? Like, just every week, like, X could, like, have a different armor at the end of the episode. And, like, just think of, like, the fourth armor versus, like, Chill Penguin. You know? Like, it would just be these weird mix and match.
Yeah, exactly. And that's precisely what I want. And Ruby Spears already did that for Classic. You know, say what you will about Ruby Spears being strange. It's original, you know. And I think that...
Voiced by Ian Corlett doing the Rush voice.
Yes. I think you could have a lot of fun with that kind of format, as long as you made it original and didn't have to retell the games beat for beat. For X, I would place it after X3 and before X4, so that you could have Repliforce be in there. You can, because now you have the Maverick virus is established, you have Repliforce is established, and you have Sigma and Bracana acting in the background during this time period. So you have like all the staples of the X series that like kind of, you know, would eventually evolve from there. Plus you have lots of characters you could draw upon. So you can have Zero and Colonel being bros for a minute. You can have Zero and Iris finally develop a little bit. You can introduce, you know, concepts and characters, you know, more deeply during this time period, you know, versus like any other time period, like something's always happening. Like you can't really do after X5 and before X6 because like the world is destroyed, and that's not a good setting for a show. In this context, you can't really do after X4 and before X5 because Repliforce is gone, and like that's a huge cast of characters just deleted. You wouldn't be able to make up new Repliforce characters, you know, and have them like you could still have rivals and stuff and have show the building tension, you know, leading up to X4. Like I don't know, it's just like the perfect storm of like where you should place an X anime.
Well, see, for me, I would not even put it in a timeline. It'd just be this weird amalgamation where sort of everything exists when it needs
super
to.
crossover fan
I
sort
see.
of series.
Yeah, so then you're not bogged down. Like, I can imagine, like, Double being a recurring character. You know, he'd be, like, their friend, and then, you know, he would disappear, you know, and then Jello Man would show up. They'll be like, and then, you know, they beat him. He's like, oh, I'll get you next time. And he leaves, and then Double, you know, comes back like, oh, Double, thank God you're okay, you know.
And then Wily modifies Double into the Double Devil. And
Oh no!
There you go.
I guess that could also work too. Like kind of like what the Battle Network anime did. The Battle Network anime very loosely followed the plot of the games until it eventually just forgot they existed. And
Okay.
it's not even that they told like nonsense stories. They started telling like original stories, and they were good. You know, there's like a whole chapter, like a whole season where like Mega Man he gets deleted at the end of one of the seasons, and it's like, oh my god, like they straight up killed Mega Man. And then there's like a whole arc where like they're trying to put him back together and like find his data fragments, and like that's not in the games at all as far as I can tell, like not that I remember.
Sonic X kind of did something similar to that when they weren't just like adapting the game plots.
Yeah, and so it can definitely work if you wanted to just do like a generic X anime that didn't follow any game or story structure, and it was just things exist when you need them to. You could have a lot of fun with the X series. You could have like Dynamo can show up and just be like an asshole, and like you can have like like Dynamo and Vile can team up and just be like super assholes.
Oh,
and then you can get Dynamo Double and Vile all together, and they can literally like just, you know, be a humongous pain in the ass for X-Zero and Axel all at once. Like, they're like, fine, you got a trio, then we have a trio. And then they start, like, you know, snapping their fingers, walking through a street, looking at each other like it's West Side Story.
I'd like to think that they would, like, eventually start fighting over who's gonna finish them off. And then it would just, you know, like, that's how they would get away. It's like, oh no, we're about to die. It's like, alright, I'm gonna kill him. Like, no, Vile, I'm gonna do it because I'm Dynamo and I'll wear a cowboy hat.
And they start fighting each other.
Yeah, they start fighting each other, and that's how they get away and regroup and then come back with their Megazord and beat them.
Yes, right. Exactly. I want a right armor Megazord now that you've said that.
So this is all stuff we want. I'm gonna go to this something. I'm gonna be good guy SilBee here, and maybe do something that we might need. I'm gonna say an anime for one series. It's gonna be Legends. It's gonna adapt the plot of the games and then go on to do content that would have been Legends 3 and provide closure to all those Legends fans out there. Might not be the same thing that was originally planned, but it will be some form of closure.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't ever written down. It was never confirmed to be canon. So anything that we get for like a Legends 3 going forward I have to kind of accept it. Like, I'm not going to be like, no, I want what they were originally going to. Like, I don't care. I don't have any attachment to it. I just want the closure. And I've even said, and I don't know if Capcom could even do this, but I'm like, all right, if you don't want to produce Legends 3, can you please give us, like, a manga or, like, a OVA or, like, a book? Give us something that just tells the story of Legends 3 and just closes that chapter, and I would be fine with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there you go, perfect answer.
Okay, wow. This has been, a blaze of an episode and a blast, but I think we are on our final question for this one.
Okay.
All right.
Is going to be another bunny question. Well, there you go. We went back and forth.
Thanks, Bunny.
Nice bookends.
Absolutely. Much appreciated. So, Bunny, would you rather... Not Bunny. You guys, would you rather...
Well, Bunny, you can answer down in the comments, along with everyone else at home.
Yes. Would everyone rather have access to all of X's armors or have access to all of the biometals?
X's armors.
I don't know, man.
That's actually a very good question.
They all have such a wide range of usefulness and coolness and practicality.
I'm not a fan of biometals as a concept because just let the dead be dead. If they were just clones of the power, I'm completely fine. But I don't want to carry around my zombie friend and be like, I'm so sorry, I'm using you as a tool now. It's like, it's okay, bro. It's like, no, it's not.
Stick Model X on the end of a stick and he's a hammer now. That's what you mean by tool, right?
Yes. But yeah, I would go with the armors. That's totally what I would want.
My knee-jerk reaction is to also say armors, but I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, have access to X's armors, and then I'm thinking, like, well, those are cool, but I almost feel as though the biometals give you a greater variety of powers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really got to think about it. I'm like, what do the biometals do that the armors can't? But the more I think about it, I think the armors do give you a greater variety of powers because the biometals are great in providing diverse gameplay in those games. But if you think about the entire X series, X can do so much in each armor. Like, he can hover, fly, Giga Crash, explode himself in a screen of Mode 7 rainbows. He can
walk on spikes twice.
He can walk on spikes. Not that I've ever come across any spikes in real life, but if I ever did, I'd be safe. That's really tough. I mean, there's a greater visual diversity, I guess, in the biometals. And you can also talk to them. I guess that would also make sense. If you had access to the biometals, you would also technically be gaining access to, like, 6 individual, like, you know, personalities. You know? So I could... Well, they're not dead. They're in these cool rocks, and they can talk to me.
They were dead for a minute, and then they got revived against their will.
Maybe they like being in a biometal. How do you know?
Just blame CL and be done with it, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
CL,
I don't need
take my
another.
friend out here and just give me the power.
I don't need another reason to dislike CL, but let's assume that they like being in the biometals. Like, maybe there's like a cool cyber jacuzzi inside that rock, and you don't know about it.
Okay, you know what?
You know,
I want to be inside
It's like a
the
Pokemon inside of a Pokeball. Apparently, they like being in their Pokeball, so maybe like the.
But
they don't seem to hate it, at least.
They didn't die to get there.
Yeah, but like their power was called upon because they were like, "Hey, there's a big threat to the world. We need help," and they're like, "You know what? I got you." And then that's what you know. All right, I'm done enough waffling. I'm gonna go with armors only because I grew up and I have much more attachment to the X series than I do the biometals. Not that they aren't awesome, and I would love to have X, Zero, and the 4 Guardians be my buddies and just, you know, hanging around all the time. But I think the armors are the way to go. You just get so much more stuff with them. Like, yo, could you imagine picking a fight with someone and then just transforming into, like, one of the armors? And be like, go ahead, take a swing, buddy, let's go. You'd literally become, like, a superhero overnight. Yeah, okay. I gotta go with the armors.
I think for me, just trying to go through them all in my head, it's hard because there's like so many. It's hard to keep them all in order. But to me, most of X's armors, apart from the ones that explicitly are based around adding movement or movement abilities, are just like various other extra ways of blowing stuff up. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so, whereas with the biometals, like you have each of them that generally have a specific use. That will enhance some tangible aspect of like your life if you just had them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think and on top of that, you also have the ones that are just really awesome at blowing stuff up. So I think for me, like all I need is like Model H, Model L, Model A, and like Model ZX, and I'm basically set for life in pretty much anything superhero-y I think I would maybe want to do.
Hold on. I need to interject.
Mm-hmm.
If you put on the helmet for the second and third part, you have a radar that can find anything. That is super useful for everyday life.
But imagine waking up every day and that stupid thing turns on and just fills your whole room, and you're like, "Damn it! I just want to go pee."
Walking into your house and suddenly your head's glowing.
Yeah.
It only happens when you teleport into the stage, not when you wake up.
Oh, okay. Well, even so.
That is true, and that is, like, practical and makes sense. But at the same time, is it really finding anything? Isn't it just, like, finding hidden stuff? I guess you, like, gain a map of literally any place you're at. But we already had that anyway.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. Well, what constitutes something hidden? Is it something that you can't find or something that was intentionally hidden?
You can find a hidden reservoir of oil. You can find the remote control after it fell on the couch. You can find your car keys.
Do you need car keys if you have access to the armors?
They make tile for that now, thank you.
Oh my god.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot we live in the future.
I don't think there's a wrong answer here, though. I think it's really just what you want out of it.
Wrong answer. I'm fundamentally against the idea of biometals.
We have morals here on Ramblin Reploids.
Hey. Winners don't do
resurrection.
Winners don't wear their dead friends' skins.
Jeez.
It's what it is.
Close enough.
I would still take a biomedal if that was my only choice. I mean, how cool would it be to just have your best friend in your pocket, just talking to him and wearing his clothes?
Then you do like a henshin pose, and suddenly you're them.
And suddenly he becomes a suit of armor for you.
Oh, I mean, I'd totally go with it if it was the only choice. If I given the choice.
Yeah. All right. Excellent series of questions. Very fun time.
Oh,
yes, absolutely a fun time. Thank you, everyone, for those questions. Some of those are really hard to decide on. It's really difficult.
And some of them really just got us going.
Yeah, they sure did.
And and thank you to everyone that submitted questions that haven't gotten chosen. But don't worry, there'll be more. If you want more, we'll make more. How about that?
There will definitely be more. I'm sure that some of you have some amazing questions just waiting to be answered.
For sure.
Yep. And if you haven't submitted a question yet, the link will be.
What are you doing? Get on it.
I made that whole Google form for a reason.
Move on.
SilBee did a good job at making it.
Yes, wonderful. This is most good.
Most good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can bolt. Bonus level has some cookie dough that's waiting for me. And we gotta wrap this episode up, so take it away, SilBee.
Enjoy. Again, I'll reiterate, thank you so much for submitting questions. It was a lot of fun. Maybe, if it gets to the point where we end up having way too many questions to do videos, practically, I'll just post them all somewhere or give them to Coleman Neakers in the server or something like that. We'll find a way to have more fun with it. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, much appreciated. Good night and good luck, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Hey, thanks for watching. Big thanks to SilBee, Dano, Sigma, Bunny, Dornor, Masterman, Adachi, Giovanni, Aiden, and the rest of our supporters. Another thanks to Bunny for the topic request and SilBee for hosting. Hope you join us next time for Mega March.